Imagine a world where your thoughts are transmitted instantly, perfectly clear, without a single word spoken. Sounds like ultimate efficiency, right?
Absolutely. No more awkward silences, no more misinterpretations.
But what if that clarity came at a profound cost? And what if the universe, in its own mysterious way, is echoing this very dilemma in your life right now, maybe urging you to find a different kind of truth?
That's a fascinating thought to start with.
Today, we're taking a truly insightful deep dive into some fascinating sources, the astrology of the day, and a futuristic StoryScope for September 6, 2025, both from Tarot by High C.
And folks can find more about High C's offerings or schedule a one-on-one reading at tarotbyhick.net if they're curious.
Right. Our mission today is to unpack how these seemingly disparate pieces of information, you know, ancient wisdom and this sci-fi narrative, how they actually converge.
Yeah, to offer some really profound insights, I think, into navigating change, trusting your inner compass.
And understanding these surprising, often kind of messy, power of authentic expression.
Exactly. Get ready for some genuine aha moments.
Yeah, things that might just make you rethink how you communicate and connect.
Okay, let's dive in.
Okay, so let's unpack our first source, the astrology of the day. It immediately zeroes in on the moon's placement in sensitive Pisces, telling us it's shifting the emotional atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
For those who might not track these celestial movements daily, what does a moon in Pisces generally signify about our emotional landscape? Before we get into today's specifics.
That's a great question to start with. Think of the moon as governing our emotional tides, right? Our inner world, our instincts.
Okay.
And Pisces, well, it's the most empathetic, fluid, and sort of boundary-dissolving sign in the zodiac.
Right, very watery.
Exactly. So when the moon enters Pisces, it's like our emotional floodgates just open up. You might find yourself feeling more compassionate. Maybe your intuition is dialed way up, almost spiritual in its resonance sometimes.
Oh, okay.
It really encourages us to embrace life's flow and trust that gut feeling, especially when purely logical solutions just aren't cutting it.
So for you listening, this could mean feeling more empathy, more creativity.
Yeah, heightened empathy, creative inspiration, definitely. But also maybe a greater vulnerability to others' moods or, environmental influences.
Makes sense.
It's permission, in a way, to feel your way forward.
Okay, that makes perfect sense, feeling both highly intuitive and perhaps a bit more permeable to the world around us.
Yeah.
But even with that flowing energy, the source mentions attention building this afternoon.
There's a catch.
Yeah. If we're meant to trust our inner guidance, what happens when that guidance seemingly conflicts with a deep-seated desire for security? What's causing this internal push and pull today?
It's an excellent point, and that tension is precisely where today gets interesting. It raises this really important question. How do we balance our desire for emotional security, for that feeling of safe harbor,
Right.
with a powerful, almost electric need for sudden change or freedom?
Okay, I see.
And the source explains that with Uranus retrograde, this tension centers around reconsidering past decisions, specifically decisions related to independence versus connection.
Uranus, that's the planet of liberation, disruption.
Exactly. And when it goes retrograde, that energy turns inward, prompting a review. So you might feel a strong pull to escape routine, to break free,
Yeah.
yet simultaneously crave that emotional safety. It creates a potent internal conflict.
Okay, so given this internal push-pull, this feeling of wanting to break free but also craving security,
Yeah.
does the source counsel caution? Like when it comes to make big plans or crucial decisions right now?
Absolutely. The advice is pretty clear. Pump the brakes.
Okay.
This is not the ideal time for major decisions, as our perceptions may very well be clouded by that temporary restlessness,
Makes sense.
Instead, we're encouraged to lean into this energy, but in an exploratory way. Use it to really unpack what authentic freedom means to you emotionally.
So internal work.
Exactly. The key is to avoid acting on impulses that might later prove destabilizing. It's a time for internal exploration, not external, unconsidered action.
That's a crucial distinction. And this idea of internal exploration actually leads us into a much longer, deeper influence that the source highlights. Uranus retrograde in Gemini.
Right. This isn't just for today.
No, this lasts until February 3rd of next year. That's a significant chunk of time for an internal revolution. What kind of shifts can we expect in our thinking and communication over these next few months?
Yeah, this is where the plot truly thickens, and it's such a profound echo of what we're exploring today. Uranus, the planet of sudden change, rebellion, breakthroughs. When it's retrograde, it turns that revolutionary energy inward.
Okay.
And in Gemini, the sign of communication, intellect, information, this means our internal communication systems are getting a radical, sometimes kind of glitchy overhaul.
Glitchy, like how?
Well, you might expect communication snafus, maybe moments of déjà vu, or like old ideas and beliefs resurfacing for reevaluation. Flexibility in your expectations is really crucial because your mental frameworks are essentially being repatterned. It's like the universe is putting your internal spell check through a major update, and sometimes older, unfiltered data surfaces.
Ah. Okay, so if our internal communication is getting this shakeup, it sounds like we should expect a few more, oops, did I just say that out loud, moments.
Maybe, or even those conversations where you swear you've had it before.
Right. And the source also explicitly mentions a significant transformation in our awareness that impacts our expression. How does this internal rewiring connect to how we actually speak and put ourselves out there? What does it mean to ignite our throat chakras?
Precisely. Those internal communication glitches are part of the process. And this transformation isn't just mental, it's deeply embodied.
Embodied.
The source talks about it igniting our throat chakras, that energy center located at your throat, traditionally associated with clear communication, truth, speaking your authentic self into existence.
Okay, yeah.
So this internal revolution in thought and communication is meant to revolutionize your modes of expression. There's a growing realization that will slowly come into focus over these next few months.
Slowly, not overnight.
No, definitely not. Leading to incremental but long-lasting changes in your life. It's about more than just thoughts. It's about how those thoughts translate into your unique voice and how you authentically present yourself to the world.
Wow, that's a powerful statement, revolutionizing our expression through the throat chakra. So beyond just acknowledging these shifts and maybe dealing with potential communication glitches, what should we be actively doing during this Uranus retrograde period? According to the source, how do we proactively engage with this internal transformation?
Well, the advice is clear and quite actionable, actually. The source encourages you to take a closer, perhaps even critical, look at changes and communication strategies you've implemented since the beginning of 2025.
Okay, so reflecting back a bit.
Exactly. Reconsider recent shifts in technology, communication methods, or maybe educational approaches in your life. Ideas that seemed revolutionary then may now need refinement.
Like a reality check.
Kind of. And innovative projects might require internal restructuring, a deeper reevaluation before they can truly move forward. You're being encouraged to uncover the layers beneath the surface, right? To examine where your thinking has been programmed by someone else's script.
Someone else's script.
Yeah.
That really resonates.
Doesn't it? Perhaps societal expectations, family beliefs, or even just old habits you've outgrown. It also prompts you to question whether recent mental breakthroughs or downloads are truly serving your long-term growth.
Or just providing temporary excitement.
Exactly. Or just temporary excitement. Ultimately, this period is about embracing your authentic self and initiating transformation wherever you sense discord between your true self and your current expression.
That phrase, someone else's script, it's so powerful and relatable. It really makes you think about how many of our daily interactions, even our internal monologues, might not be truly ours.
Absolutely.
Now let's shift gears to our second source, the StoryScope for today. This is a futuristic narrative called The Resonance Protocol, and it has some incredible, almost eerie parallels to what we just discussed.
Yeah, it's like a sci-fi mirror reflecting these astrological insights.
Exactly. So the story begins in the year 2125, where humanity supposedly mastered communication through something called the neural net. What was so perfect about it, from the perspective of its creators, the architects, and what was the immediate appeal?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, the architects of this neural net believed they had achieved perfect clarity. And, who wouldn't want that, right?
That's just a thing.
Words, with all their ambiguities and potential for misunderstanding, had become obsolete. Thoughts moved faster than speech, clean, efficient, supposedly stripped of error. Every mind was laced into this common lattice.
A universal telepathy.
Pretty much. Creating a universal telepathy where misunderstandings were supposedly a thing of the past. It was the ultimate pursuit of efficiency, a frictionless communication.
So their vision was efficiency over everything, a seamless, silent mental connection. But then, the story says, the echoes began.
The cracks appear.
What kind of unsettling glitches started to surface in this supposedly perfect, error-free system?
Yeah.
And why were these particular glitches so unsettling?
Well, this raises that important question again. What happens when supposed perfection develops flaws that reveal something deeper? The glitches weren't just random static.
No.
No, like a scientist in Lagos found her own thoughts speaking back to her in an unrecognized voice, a voice that wasn't hers.
Whoa.
Yeah. And a pilot above Saturn's rings replayed conversations from 2 decades ago with a deceased brother dialogues he'd never truly processed.
Oh, wow.
Across the net, these communication glitches bloomed. Speech fragments, déjà vu dialogues, forgotten idioms surfacing as though dredged from the subconscious of the species itself. These weren't just errors. They were deeply personal, historical, and profoundly human echoes.
That's incredibly unsettling, your own thoughts, your past, speaking back to you in ways you couldn't control. And the architects initially just dismissed these as minor bugs, right? Just harmless residues.
They absolutely did. They called them harmless residues, just mere scraps of inefficient code within the lattice.
But they were wrong.
Completely, because deeper listening revealed something far more unsettling for them and far more meaningful for humanity. These errors contained profound meaning. The voices carried truths too raw to be accidental old wounds, forgotten rebellions, thoughts that had been buried by what the story calls the scripts of conformity.
There's that phrase again, scripts.
Exactly. These glitches weren't just errors. They were signals, unaddressed issues finally bubbling to the surface, challenging the very foundation of their perfect system.
So this discovery of meaning in the glitches sparked a quiet revolution. How did this movement, the resonance protocol, actually begin? What compelled people to start rejecting this efficient silent communication?
Well, the movement, the resonance protocol, it didn't start with some grand decree or anything. It began, the story says, in the throats of those who felt this profound internal resonance.
In their throats. Literally.
Literally. They felt compelled to speak aloud in raw human voices, voices unused for decades. It was awkward, messy,
Yeah.
filled with croaking, singing, chanting, stammers, breaks.
Wow.
And yet, the story emphasizes it was real. This was a conscious physical rejection of the enforced telepathy of the net, a visceral return to authentic human sound, embracing the very imperfections the neural net had tried to eradicate.
I can almost picture it, people finding their voices, literally after decades of silence. So how did these resonants communicate with each other then? Embracing this new yet ancient way of being, what did their new communication look like?
Well, communities gathered not in the engineered silence of the neural net, but in noise, arguing, laughing, interrupting.
Real human interaction.
Totally. They discovered forgotten languages, wove together new dialects, and even dared to leave gaps in speech where silence itself carried weight and conveyed meaning.
Ah, so silence wasn't just absence, it was part of it.
Exactly. And the story explicitly states the throat chakra of the species, long dormant, blazed alive in a storm of sound.
Wow, there it is again, the throat chakra.
It's a direct, profound echo of the Uranus retrograde description we heard earlier, linking this internal transformation to the external, messy, and deeply human active expression.
Okay, this sounds like a beautiful, chaotic change, embracing the messiness of humanity and connection over sterile efficiency. But the source says it wasn't easy.
Not at all.
What were the practical challenges of this revolution, beyond just the emotional upheaval?
Well, the change was not instant nor easy by any means. It caused significant practical disruptions. Projects once hailed as revolutionary under the neural net faltered.
Because they relied on that silent thought streaming.
Precisely. Technologies designed for thought streaming had to be dismantled and rebuilt, or completely reimagined, for speech and sound. Education fractured, as students demanded to learn not just the architect's script of efficient thought,
But the messy stuff.
yeah, the ancient messiness of rhetoric, poetry, debate. Each step forward required revisiting the past, refining instead of simply discarding. It was a complete overhaul, right? An internal restructuring of society's operating system, not just a simple update.
So despite all this upheaval, the glitches themselves, those harmless residues the architects dismissed, they ultimately became a gift.
Yeah.
How did humanity come to see them this way?
Well, over months, a profound pattern emerged. The glitches had indeed been a gift, like a mirror held up to the human mind.
The mirror.
They revealed how deeply thought itself had been programmed, where originality had been unconsciously replaced by efficiency, by, again, someone else's script. These perceived errors cracked the silence with the wild, imperfect music of authentic expression.
Wow. Wild, imperfect music. I like that.
Me too. They were the catalyst for truth, for genuine connection, for understanding the difference between clarity and truth.
That's a powerful distinction. Clarity versus truth. So how did humanity ultimately transform its approach to communication and connection moving forward after embracing these truths? What did the future look like?
Humanity began its slow, deliberate transformation, not abandoning the lattice of the neural net entirely, but fundamentally weaving into it the beautiful, vibrant chaos of the human voice.
So integrating, not just rejecting.
Exactly. Ideas no longer streamed as sterile clarity, but as layered resonance, thought, sound, silence, song, all intertwined. The architects had called their work perfection, believing in the flawless, silent transmission of thought.
But the resonance.
The resonance, those who dared to speak, they named theirs truth. And in that messy, discordant, yet deeply harmonious symphony, the future truly found its voice.
Wow. It's almost eerie, isn't it? How these two seemingly different narratives, an astrological forecast and a futuristic sci-fi story, arrive at such a similar core message about authenticity and communication.
It really is striking.
What stands out to you as the most profound, perhaps even surprising echo between them?
Well, what's truly striking for me is that both sources underscore that perceived glitches or moments of internal discord, they aren't problems to be suppressed. They're vital signals for growth.
Right. Don't ignore the weird stuff.
Exactly. The astrological Uranus retrograde in Gemini tells us to look inward at our communication scripts that aren't serving us anymore. The StoryScope shows us a future where errors in a supposedly perfect system force humanity to rediscover its authentic voice. They both highlight that the path to deeper, more meaningful connection, whether with ourselves or others, often involves leaning into the discomfort, the reevaluation.
Run the messy process.
Yeah, the messy process of speaking our truth rather than just seeking sterile efficiency or instant solutions. It's about recognizing that sometimes the universe, or even technology in the story, forces authenticity upon us when our old ways fail.
That's a really key point. The insight is in how we respond to that eruption, that glitch.
Precise.
So, then for you listening today, it sounds like the core message isn't just to try to be authentic, but maybe to recognize that the universe, or even your own subconscious, might be forcing authenticity upon you through these perceived glitches in your life right now.
Exactly. Both stories underline that true, lasting transformation often involves revisiting past decisions, refining ideas, and bravely embracing a more nuanced, sometimes discordant symphony of communication and self-expression.
Finding the truth in the messiness.
Yes. And understanding that lasting growth comes from this deeper internal work, not just from quick fixes or surface-level changes.
This deep dive has truly shown us that navigating change means more than just logical solutions. It really is about trusting your intuition, questioning the narratives you've been given.
Those scripts?
Those scripts, yeah. And embracing your authentic voice, even when it feels messy or imperfect. It's a reminder that sometimes the most revolutionary act is simply to speak your truth, however haltingly it comes out.
So as you reflect on this, maybe consider this provocative thought. In a world constantly pushing for efficiency and instant clarity, what glitches or echoes in your own life, those recurring thoughts, those unexpected feelings, those moments of friction, what might they actually be trying to tell you? Something truly important.
Urging you to find and use your own authentic voice.
Perhaps. What conversation from the past or hidden emotion might be ready to resurface, not as an error to be fixed, but as a path to your deepest, most authentic truth?